Time for our Tri-State Office Furniture Tweet of the Day. Comes from the Pitt Athletics account. I think this is an awesome announcement that was announced today. Bobby Greer to be inducted into the Pitt Athletics Hall of Fame. That's going to come up in a few weeks here. Really great announcement for those who are not aware. Bobby Greer, a former Pitt two-way player, was a running back and defensive back. He actually became the first black player to play in the Sugar Bowl. So this is a really monumental announcement for Pitt Athletics. A great day for Pitt football. Congratulations to Bobby Greer being inducted into the Pitt Hall of Fame. And if I wanted to be nitpicky, I'd say it's probably a little bit overdue. But then again, this is still a practically new thing at Pitt. So the fact that it's happening, I think that's the positive thing. Let's stick with Pitt. Josh Taylor, Paul Zeise. What do you got there, Paul?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, his story is amazing if you think about it.
Yeah.
Some of the things that, guys like you and I probably, couldn't even really fathom. I mean, went down there with his team. He wasn't allowed to stay at the same hotel. The governor of Georgia was not going to allow Georgia Tech to play against Pitt in that thing. And frankly, Pitt lost the game because there was a phantom call against him in that game. And so, it's one of those things, Josh, where anytime somebody wants to tell me that things, we haven't made progress and this and that and everything is really, the worst it's ever been for, guys that look like you and me, I always say, you know what, you really don't know your history because, my father went through a whole lot more than I did, and his father went through a whole lot more than he did, and his father went through a whole lot more than he did. I mean, it's not perfect here. Obviously, we've got issues, but you and I are have lived in a time that's, much better than probably our parents and our forefathers.
I'd imagine that if our parents and grandparents could see what we're doing right now, I think they'd be pretty satisfied with what they see. To your point, talking about Bobby Greer, and I'm glad you mentioned the governor of Georgia wanting them not playing this game. Georgia Tech's coach said, look, we're playing Pitt, we're playing in this game. There was just a lot of support that came from all corners for that game to be played between those two teams. By the way, kind of a shameless plug, there's a book out there called Pittsburgh Sports First. There's a chapter about it. You guys can buy it and read it and check it out. Just so you know that me and Paul aren't making things up. That's all I'm saying. Speaking of Pitt football, they got Georgia Tech tomorrow. Go figure. They play Georgia Tech in that Sugar Bowl game. How weird. Weird segue. But it's the first conference game for Pitt in the ACC. Pitt's FPI, I believe that came out yesterday, gave Pitt a 43% chance to win the ACC Coastal Division. I talked to Chris Muller about this earlier today. Paul, I'm going to ask you the same question. Does that 43% worry you about, okay, Pitt should be able to do this, or should we pump the brakes until we see a little bit more inside conference and division play?
Well, I would say this. I mean, they probably have the best quarterback, right? I mean, I know
Agreed.
The kid from North Carolina gets a lot of, accolades, but the bottom line to me, I don't know about you, Josh, but I don't see anybody in the Coastal Division that's any better than Pitt. That doesn't mean they should win every game, but I don't see anybody there that is better than Pitt.
Yeah, and Miami had a chance to win a game last night, just completely shanked the field goal. You look up and down this division, this Coastal Division. I've made this joke for a couple years now. I'm going to toss it out there again. This division is the worst Quentin Tarantino movie ever made because you don't know who's going to walk out alive halfway through the movie. It's a surprise at the end.
Well, I mean,
that's this division.
I mean, again, if Virginia, is a team that nobody's talking about, but they could be a team that, Pitt goes and wins a big emotional game against one of their teams that's on their schedule and then loses to Virginia. I mean, they showed last night. I mean, I don't think I've said it from the start. I think Miami stinks.
You're not wrong.
But, you got Miami's not very good. I think North Carolina's not bad. Georgia Tech is a team that could beat Pitt tomorrow. I mean, I would expect that Pitt's going to win the game, but Georgia Tech is a team, but they're not very good. Virginia Tech is what they are. I mean, I look at that Duke, I look at that division. There's no reason why Pitt shouldn't win that division. And you know what, Josh? I'll even go one step further before I know we got to get to some calls.
Yep.
But I'm going to go to one step further. 27 seniors. 13 or 14 super seniors, or whatever you call the guys that are there 5, 6, 7 years. A quarterback who is, came back and everybody thought he was going to the NFL, who's a fifth-year starter, in a division that is absolutely atrocious. Actually, a conference that's absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
If Pitt doesn't make noise this year, I don't know when you can expect them to make noise.
Paul, here's the craziest thing I've thought of in the last couple of weeks when it comes to the ACC. We could be talking about Wake Forest possibly being the favorite to win the ACC as an entire conference in football?
Well,
I have no
again,
words, but that's what we're looking at. Possibility.
think about this. Think about this. Miami and Florida State. You know, two programs that, you know, they took Miami from the Big East. They got Florida State when they were an independent. They thought they were going to build a, you know, and for a while Florida State was that bell cow.
Yep.
But Miami, I don't know that have they ever won the ACC? I don't know that they have in football. I think they've only made one appearance in the ACC championship game.
It's a really good question.
I mean, that's just incredible to me that these two programs that you would count on, Louisville was much better when they were in the Big East than they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, they stole them. You know, Virginia Tech was, you know, they've kind of held up their end of the bargain based on who they are. But still, at the end of the day, I mean, you look at the ACC, it's really, really a disaster right now. Clemson, you know, remember the kid from Clemson, the quarterback, and he played Notre Dame last year when Trevor Lawrence was out.
Yeah.
And, you know, almost beat, and they put up a bunch of points, and everyone said, boy, this guy's better than Trevor Lawrence. Now he's the starter, and, well, I don't know that anybody has that opinion anymore.
Different when they see you coming.